go. So
All right.
hit record.
Greetings, world. Oh, I'm already on it. I'm already doing it. Greetings, world. Us hairy game lords have been playing Islands in the Mist by Schmidt Games. What did we think? Find out. Big thank you to Coiled Spring, who sent us this game to review. I'm going to go straight over to Hipster King, who can explain a little bit about the said game.
Right then, so Islands in the Mist is basically, I guess at its heart, is a tile laying game where you are you're laying tiles out onto an island. The island is helpfully hexagon shaped and your tiles are all hexes as well, so it tessellates really nicely. And you're flying a balloon around the island, and basically wherever you start from, there is a number on that tile and you're going to move that many spaces. And at the start of the turn, somebody's going to roll a couple of dice. Those dice are going to do two things. One is going to decide the direction of travel that you're going to be moving in, said number of spaces, and also there's a kind of bonus die that gives you maybe some extra movement or allows you to move in a slightly different way, that kind of thing. So at the start of your turn, then you've got to try and work out, right, am I going to go that way or am I going to try and go a different way? If you're going to go against the wind, that's going to cost you a whole load of energy, which is kind of the resource in the game. So you can spend some of the energy that you collect to move either in a different way or move further than the dice has allowed you. When you land at the spot, you then get the choice to lay the tile of your choice or tiles of your choice around the hex that you're then spaced on. Aim of the game is to try and join each different side of the island, which has got a different terrain type, back to the center of the island, and that'll score you a load of points. And the other thing is to group terrain types together, scores you a whole load of extra points. There are a few other scoring tiles. There are monuments, and the person with the most monuments gets some points. And there are some cities, and basically cities score based on what they've got around them. So as with all these games, there's a few different ways to score points. It's not quite point salady, but there's enough there that you can be, there were different strategies being played around the table, which I really enjoyed because you could work out which one's going to work best for me. And basically, there's an element of race about it because there's two ways to finish the game. It's timed by the fact that if you run out of tiles, game over, and also the first person who manages to link up all of their sides of the island to the center triggers the end game as well. So it's first trying to work out at what point to do that, if you can do that. But that's the game in a nutshell. That's me in a nutshell. And
Beautiful.
over to Slightly Beardy James, who was second. His strategy was pretty good.
Thanks for reminding me, Pete.
Not first.
Your strategy was very pretty, wasn't it? Very pretty,
It
yours.
was very nice.
Okay. So you get points in a few different ways. One of the ways you get points is by bunching together heck of lots of the same color. And I'm a little slow. It took me a while to wrap my head around how you get your points and all that business. But essentially, you're trying to connect the outside of the island to the center of the island. And I think even at the end of the game, I still didn't fully understand it, but I did all right, and I had a good time. And so as you're going around, like Pete said, you're hurtling around in your balloon. And the fastest player gets to go first, if I remember correctly.
That's right.
That means that you get to choose which tiles you're going to take first. Every single time you've got clouds, and the clouds are gaining tiles, because that's how clouds work. And then you can choose which cloud, with which selection of tiles is going to go into your active pile. And then you can even keep some of your tiles for the future. It's like saving the discovery up for the opportune moment. And so as you're going around, you are discovering this island. And the way I discovered my island was in a very concentrated area. And so there was just loads and loads of red, there was loads of yellow, there was loads of green, but there wasn't very much on the other side of the island. Now, like, I had a great time doing all of that area down there, but the other guys were busy covering up the volcanoes because, like, whilst it's all formless and misty, you can tell that there are some dangerous spots. There's volcanoes, and the volcanoes, if you cover them up at the end, before the end of the game, you're gonna prevent yourself bleeding points like I did. There's also some good spots where you can cover up things that will give you energy boosts, which is really nice because you can be quite thoughtful about what you're going to cover up. But yes, I fell foul of that one there. The only thing I was going to add to this was, like, why didn't they call it Flotillas in the Mist? Because, like, I mean, surely, like, one of the few times you can, like, make a pun like that, but I don't know.
Yeah, it's because people wouldn't get it.
Well, Flotillas in the Mist.
So I think islands in the mist. You've got islands in the stream. You know, you've got a song to go with it. It's, you know.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know the song.
Can you just do that again for us, Pete? Thanks.
I can hear the song in my head. I'm not going to sing it for everyone, but it's there. It's there.
I'm not old enough to know this song, Pete. Sorry.
But you are old enough to know Gorillas in the Mist.
Oh, it's a cultural thing, right?
Anyway, it's a cultural thing.
Hot air balloon game that I played. Let's see, Dave.
Yeah, you see, I did enjoy the fact that I think me and James, despite having exactly the same wind conditions and starting point, pretty much our tiles made a complete map. Because James did all of the bottom left-hand corner of the map, and I did pretty much all of the top right-hand corner of the map, and there was hardly any overlap whatsoever. It was absolute madness. But I did really enjoy the wind mechanic in this, having the speed for the wind and going with the wind, or having to spend loads of energy to push against the wind. I think the only thing that drove me absolutely nuts was the fact that one of the dice rolls let you go either in the direction of the wind or exactly against the wind for free. And it's like, that's not how wind works. But there's like magic. There was magic and stuff. So, you know, and building cities in the sky probably isn't that realistic either. So what can you do? But I do like that whole, you're having to plan where you're going while fighting against the conditions that are set against you. Was a really, really nice mechanic, and one that you don't really see that often either. So that was really, really nice. And then also the fact that going faster means that you are in danger of completely overshooting like the edge of the board or what have you, but you get to go first next turn. So there's that sort of trying to balance a couple of things up. Although if you do go hurtling over the edge of the board, you do get to go to the nice little market in the sky as well. Which
that was one of the things.
Cool.
One of the things I really like about the game, which I'm glad you'd put in there, Dave, is that it comes with 2 or 3 additional modules. I love a game that does that. Taverns of Teeth and Tal, a classic that does that as well, where you know the base game is good already, but really shines when you start adding in the extras. And we added in for this game the harbour, which allows you to go off the edge of the map, go up into the harbour, which basically allows you to pick and swap tiles around. And there's a larger selection of tiles. And if you go really big and you fly really far to the far end of the harbour, you're able to swap out one of your own tiles and gain 4, I think it was 4 tiles back. So you can really gain some extras. Obviously, you then have to you're in essence skipping a turn because you have to fly back to getting back in takes some time. But I really like that sort of additional, and there were other modules. So it's a game that there's more replayability because of those modules bring different ways to play to the game, which I think adds a lot. I'm always a fan of that.
This was a game where right afterwards I was like, I really want to play this one again because I was like, I understand it now and I'm going to smash it.
Yeah, it is certainly a game I want to play again. Just I didn't win, but I enjoyed it. I like the whole thing of you're placing tiles, but also You're trying to work out the best route, and you're trying to get that first place as well. So you want to land on a tile that has the biggest amount of speed for the next time. Also, that's what I was going to say. The whole thing of the energy. So yes, you can use up your energy to go against the wind and stuff like that, but at a sacrifice of victory points for the end of the game. So it's that whole kind of like playing thought. I think you and I, Dave, maxed out our energy quite near the end of the game, didn't we?
Yeah, maxed out our energy.
Which was good, because then it paid off. We got some extra points, even though it didn't help us in the win.
I managed to cover up pretty much all the volcanoes as well. I just didn't get the bulk points for everything being joined together. And you built an awful lot of towers.
Yes, I did. I built loads of monuments. That's right. Yeah, good times. So all in all, really enjoyed the game, and would definitely play this again. Even though I didn't win, Pete won. Well done, Pete. Artwork is nice on it. It's thematic. It fits in with the game. It's pleasant to look at. What's also cool is that each board is double-sided. So there's sort of different layouts on each of the boards, and then there's different layouts on the back, I think, as well. Is that correct?
I think so. The other thing I was going to say that I enjoyed is the fact the dice roller, who is the person before the first player, is able to, they know you can see where everybody's going. So actually you can choose to do something that might not necessarily help everybody or help that first player. So going first is good, but it can be thrown by the person rolling the dice, which gives a little bit, there is some interaction. It's not high on interaction at all, but you can strategize to either hinder or help your opponents or help you and make those decisions as well. But definitely a big thumbs up from me. I absolutely loved it, and we'll definitely be playing this one again.
Yes, indeed, and from me too.
Very much so.
Let's do this again.
Too right.
Next time, Gadget.